So this tutorial I'm going to go through some basics on the Ultrabeat. Get asked a lot of questions on how to use it, how to get the step sequencer to work, and to put your drum loops into your timeline, into your range, and so forth. Going to touch on a little bit on the interface very briefly, but then we're really going to get into the full view and show you how to use the step sequencer and getting it into your project. So let's open an Ultrabeat up. So we want to open a software instrument. Let's open up Ultrabeat down here. If you're not sure, the in and out section, it's a blank box there, and come down to Ultrabeat. We're going to open the multi-output. If you've seen my EXS tutorial, you'll know what this does. If not, what this is going to do is going to allow us to assign certain samples into groups. They come out of a separate channel. We can manipulate them individually. We can add our own compressions, reverb, effects, anything we want on individual channels. So we might want our kicks going to one input, our hi-hats and snares maybe to another input. We can manipulate them separately. So we're going to use that, and we're going to go through that as well. So click on multi-output, and then your Ultrabeat pops up. So as you can see, it opens up the default settings. Let's just, if you want to open up a preset, just click on the arrow where it says default drum kits and choose one. We'll just choose any one for the minute, just to show you. So deep house, and as you can see, all the samples are listed down the left hand side. There's a keyboard on its side to show you what notes they are. And yeah, this is the basic layout of the Ultrabeat, and it can be a bit daunting if it's the first time you've seen it, but don't fret, it's not that bad. You've got a couple of things, like here's the sample, we've got some pitch changes of the sample, you've got some distortion and filtering here, LFO, you've got your envelopes. So there's loads of little bits here that look a bit more daunting than they are. Some little things that you might want to use as a beginner is the pitch maybe. So if I play, and I'll show you what you can do to adjust the pitch. So you can move this slider to change the pitch of your sample. So if you want to tune that kick drum into your track, or any instrument into your track, any sample, that's where you'll want to do it. Again, as I say, you can add crush and distortion here by just clicking on the settings and playing around. Obviously turn it on. Let's have a listen. So we can add some serious distortion on that. And you've got your envelopes if you want any if you want a slower attack, etc, etc. So they're just some simple little parameters that look a bit more technical than they are, but we're not going to really go through all that today, and we're not going to go through any of the stuff at the top. We're going to come down to this section and the full view. So if you see this button in the bottom right hand corner, if you click full view, it comes to like the step sequencer settings. Now it's already got a preset step sequencer loaded in, so let's have a little listen. You can turn it on and hit play. Pretty straightforward drum loop. So now let's go through some certain things. So you've got a swing function right here. If we turn it on, let's have a listen. What it does, let's just turn, is it pushes the slightly before or after exactly on the beat, so it gives it a more natural human feel. We can play around with that a bit later on, but what we're going to go for is importing our own loops. So what you can do is if you click on a blue light, it turns off, and obviously wherever you click it turns on. If you click on one and don't let go, click and drag, it will remove that selection. So you can do that. So first of all, before we get going, is you can choose your length. So there's 32 there. So if these are sixteenths, because we've got it set there as a resolution of sixteenths, so that's 2 bars. So 2 lots of 16 in 32, that's a 2-bar loop. Obviously, if we turn these to 8, it's going to be a lot. It's going to change and change your bar values, etc. of this. So 16 and 32 is quite a good one. You can get in with sixteenths on the hi-hats. If you go eighths, it doesn't give you as much detail. You can't get in. It's obviously a larger gap to fill. So sixteenths is usually the go-to. Obviously, if you want to get more in depth, go 32. But that will be just 1 bar. So you're looking at wanting to maybe go sixteenths, get a 2-bar loop. It's quite a nice amount. So let's just start drawing in some simple patterns. So as you can see, as I'm clicking, what it's doing is it's drawing the velocity in and the length of the note. For a kick drum, it's not really that appropriate, but if you had up the top, you've got a piano chord here. So if we jump up to this, if we hit that, let's turn these off for a sec, hit play, you see it stops. If we come here and extend, so just click and extend, you can see it holds the note. Again, as I say, with most drums, it doesn't really matter because they're quite one-hit samples and they don't last very long. You won't really notice, but that just in case you're getting clipping at the end of some of your samples because it's not long enough, that's how you do it. So you can just drag the length of the note out. Okay, so let's just get back to this. So we can click on here, you can come in and draw it any way you want. So we've just got a 4/4 drum beat there. Okay, so what we've got here on this side is if you look, you can click this blue bar and drag it up and down. That's a volume level for that sample, so you can turn the level up. You've got a mute and a solo button for that sample. So if you wanted to just sample and mute then, so you can see how it sounds, you can do that in there. You've got a pan function here. You can see some of them are already panned. If you pan it, you'll see a little red line that will go around the panning, show you where you are. You can see like the wood blocks pan to the right, etc. That tom tambourines pan to the right a little bit. So you can pan it there as well. You've also got your outputs. So this is where the multi-output section comes into it. If you click, you've got an array of outputs. So you've got some stereo outputs and mono outputs. So let's just take our kick and we'll put it on channel 17, the first mono output. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a clap. We'll go with this clap here, and I'm just going to put it on the off beat. So now it sounds like this. So now what I want to do is I'm going to take this, and instead of putting it on 17, I'm going to put it on the output 18. So now these are on different outputs, and we'll come back to them in a bit. Let's just play around and have a little listen. So you can have it play in and add samples. We're going to add that to 18 as well. So we've got our claps and snares on the same one. We're going to add a closed hat. So let's start playing. And I'm going to put this on 19. So we've got a kick, snares, 2 snares and a clap, and hi-hats on 3 different channels. We could go all day and make a really great drum loop, but I'm just going to make a basic drum loop so you can see. So now if we move this to the side, now we want to get this into our timeline, because at the minute, if I hit play here, it's playing even though there's no part there. And if I turn this off, it'll play and then there'll be nothing there. So what you ideally want to do is to turn the sequencer off, and then now this little Just like that. This little button here next to pattern says drag to arrange window. So now if you click there and drag it up, and drag it up, you can see it adds your part in, and if we click on that, you'll see it's identical part to this. Yeah, so now with that turned off, we can hit play on here. And let's put our part in. And it will obviously bring it in with velocity and note length, etc, etc. And then now what we can do is now we can maybe, we might not want those last sections of the last bar, and we might want to change it up. Don't really know what I'm doing here. So it sounds, let's see what it sounds like. So we've just added like a little change at the end. Now we can, rather than create a whole new loop, I can just make that change, put it at the end. Now we've got a 4-bar loop. Turn it off. I can loop that, play it. As you can see, it's putting that in, and you can, especially for building up tracks, it's great. So like we might want to add, see what it sounds. We might want to add, I don't know, and then again we might want to make these congos to output 20. So we've got another output group, and drag that in, and just slowly be building up your drums. You can see it's bringing the congos in, and you can see the swing straight away there on the congos. So the swing is quite a heavy swing. You can see straight away that it's applied that swing. And they're not coming bang on the beats like it's supposed to. So this here was supposed to come here. You can see the swings knocked it out a little bit there, and it's applied into your part that you've dragged in. So once you've done that and you've created your part, you can turn that off. Then you can start playing around with your sounds if you need to, fine tune some samples. Just click on them and fine tune them. But then what you can also do is come down into your mixer. And again, like when we've done the multi-output on the EXS, there's a little plus sign when you create a multi-output. And if you clicking on that, you'll see all your outputs. So your stereo ones will come first, then your mono ones. So I know on the Ultrabeat 17, I put the kicks. Then on 18, I put the snares and claps, I believe. On 19, I put the hats. And on 20, I put the congos. So now when I hit play, you can see them all coming up. Now you see the congos. So now I can solo each hit. I can apply effects to each separate channel. EQs. Whatever we like. Turn the volume down. We could do pan in here if we want rather than previous. So we can manipulate each individual sound here, or each individual group. Remember, we've only got a certain amount. We've got 8 stereos and 8 monos, so you do need to use sparingly. So it's nice to put them in groups. So your kicks, your snares and claps, your hi-hats, your congos, maybe some effects, and then you can fine-tune your kicks, etc. within Ultrabeat, and then when they're together, you can bring them here as a group. And it's perfect. You can bus and send them wherever you want once they're in here. and it's a perfect way to utilize your drums. So I hope that's helped. So that's just a quick, brief overview on how to use the Ultrabeat and how to get that in. If you do want to add your own samples in, you can go to a drum kit that's called Drag and Drop, and it gives you a load of blank samples. And if you see here it says sample loaded, you can click there, load sample. Let's find a drum loop, a drum sample quickly. So I don't know, any sample, and it'll come in and it'll be in there. It's not playing. Chose a dud sample. Okay, it was just my output. So if you added in samples, I'd send it to the main when I've got a multi output already set up and assigned, and main's not assigned to anything, so I just needed to put it somewhere. But you can just add your own samples in, name them, and create your own kits. So that's the easiest way to do that. Any questions, please do drop me a line. Just a quick brief overview of Ultrabeat. Hope that helped. Cheers.